Welcome back to Scenes from the Spectrum, episode 14.
Here's Ilyasova. Here's McConnell. Can he get it off? Yeah! And the Sixers win it! 7 seconds to play. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win. Yes!
You know, I think that sound right there makes my week. I don't know about you, but I just love hearing it every single time we record.
That's a close second to hearing Tony on the intro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everybody is special feature from our producer, Mr. Tony.
Yeah, Tony the producer Tony fits all the criteria of what a great producer is. I am SixersGraeme. He's SixersJustin. Scenes from the Spectrum. Off-season edition here in this August 6th episode. It's been kind of dry recently, but then we get to this bombshell about allegations, and then Harden signs a contract 3 weeks later than we thought he would. So,
yeah,
within a month review, it went from there's really not much to talk about, not many talking points other than maybe Isaiah Joe
in the summer league.
In the summer league. But all of a sudden, we have all these tweets and allegations and Harden contract and tampering with PJ Tucker, and there's so many things going on at once.
Yeah,
where it's what the NBA is all about in the offseason. I know we're going to dissect a lot of that in this episode, but yeah, this is our first one in August, so shout out to that.
Yeah, happy August, everybody.
Yeah, waiting for the season to start because I have seen James Harden workout videos, and I gotta say, I'm excited.
All right, so Tony, hit that music. Let's run through our headlines for today. James Harden has finally put pen to paper and signed his deal, taking a massive pay cut. Woj had something to say about it as he tweeted out tampering investigations into Harden's contract. Also, investigation into the signing of PJ Tucker and Daniel House. Bunch of Harden summer workout videos. He looks good. New arena for Center City, Philadelphia, coming in 2030. Ooh, eight years away, I think that is. And then we're gonna drop our predictions for next year or this upcoming season. So, Graham, how are you doing today?
I am doing just fine. It's a late Friday night. This will be going on a Saturday afternoon, I presume, whenever Justin can get the editing done.
It'll be out.
But at this time, unless something groundbreaking has happened, I am content with the Sixers. You know,
absolutely.
I'm not like extremely frustrated like I was this time last season because the way that the Hawks series ended and Ben Simmons was still on the team. I'm still not happy because there's a lot of work to be done. Matisse Thybulle's still on the team. The supporting cast might not be what exactly you want for Joel Embiid going into what we think is his third year of his prime. So I am just somewhere in the middle of being, not too overzealous of we're going to win the whole damn thing, but we're not like we're going to make the playoffs. Like we're not a 9 seed.
I can't be in the we're going to win the whole thing mindset anymore because I've done it too many times. I did it with the Al Horford team. I did it with the Jimmy Butler team. I did it when we got James Harden, and it's disappointment every time. And, I don't want to feel that disappointment anymore. So I'm lowering my expectations, hoping the Sixers will exceed them. So
yeah, I don't think I'll ever in my lifetime have an expectation of where the Sixers are going to win the championship.
Yeah. So
it's just not going to happen.
So
for my mental well-being, Sixers are always going to be 11 seed.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, or was it last week, 2 weeks ago, Harden put pen to paper like we've all been waiting for. It took a while, had to recover from the party at the Hamptons house, but finally put pen to paper, and wow, a massive pay cut. Graham, do you know the exact contract it was?
I think it's estimated to be around $33 million for the first year.
Yep, and then he has a player option in the second year.
Yes, and then that'll be looking at now $35.6 million, and then he is an unrestricted free agent in 2024. So as it seems pretty clear that the Sixers have a 2-year window now for a championship run. So
and
got to make the most of it.
This is kind of what the Sixers front office has been waiting for, honestly. Since the process started, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you got your team, you got your two superstars in James Harden and Joel Embiid. You got a young star in Tyrese Maxey, and you have a solid team around them, especially with your signings this offseason. But I'm very excited to watch this team. Harden and his summer workout videos, they got me pretty excited. I can't lie, watching Harden hoop in gyms got me very, very excited. So he's looking like that hamstring is healthy now.
Yeah, Ball's Life had a video out today with him
Mhm.
and Charles Bassey and Rico Hines. I know he's been working out with he's got shooting doctors, the whole 9 yards, but his hamstring's healthy to what it looks like. So his hamstring being healthy could be the world for the Sixers. If we can get healthy Harden, we don't know exactly who that is at age 32, but I want to see. I want to see what that looks like beside Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, and James Harden even said it himself. He wasn't feeling 100% with that hamstring injury, and he was still dropping almost a near triple-double every single game. So I expect a big jump this year from last year, especially being fully healthy. But, we'll see. But, recent reports have come out in the past week and a half or so of, they're going into a tampering investigation with the Sixers with one with James Harden's contract and two the recent signings. Tony, do you want to read
Yeah.
the exact Woj tweet?
Does Tony have this tweet so the listeners, viewers, wherever you may be, we can get the full grasp of these allegations?
All right. Per Woj, the NBA has opened an investigation into the Philadelphia 76ers for possible tampering and early contact and centered on franchise's summer free agency class of James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Daniel House. Sixers have begun cooperating with league on probe story soon.
All right. So first thing, James Harden was on the Sixers prior. There was obviously always going to be contact between the two because they had an unwritten agreement of what was going to happen down the offseason. So I'm very interested to see how, in fact, the tampering there, like, where's the tampering at? He was on the Sixers, under contract with the Sixers. I guess, it ended unofficially, officially ended, and now there was communication. I don't get that part of it.
Well, the tampering part about James Harden contract is him getting his full 47 million, but getting that 33 from the team and then getting the rest of the contract elsewhere. Maybe from Michael Rubin or whoever else, but I believe he is getting that full 47 million, but not all from the 76ers.
Yeah, there's definitely a big part of that, and it's legal now for the Sixers because Rubin is not a part of the organization, and he's not affiliated with the NBA in any manner besides his Fanatics deal, which has nothing to do with the Sixers. So I think that even if they looked into that, it's by law technically not tampering because the Sixers really didn't have much say in what Rubin does. Maybe if they had conversations about it with James Harden on record, then there might be a problem. But if there's no way to prove that Harden is with Rubin, the NBA can't do anything about the Sixers with Harden. PJ Tucker might be a different story. There was always tampering with PJ Tucker, and I think that there was a lot of people in the free agency class that had the same type of deal with Tucker, that they were linked way before they signed, and the Sixers seem to be the only team getting Woj tweet about him.
Well, yeah, I have a strong opinion on tampering and how the NBA handles it, and I think, and I really believe the NBA handles tampering like a joke. They pick and choose who they want to investigate, which this year it's the Sixers and the New York Knicks with Jalen Brunson. I mean, there's everybody tampers. You can see it 10 minutes out of when free agency starts. DeAndre Jordan gets signed in 2 minutes. Jalen Brunson news gets broken right away, so he's getting investigated. But all these players who signed within the first 15 minutes of free agency, that's tampering. They've been tampering weeks prior. It makes no sense why the NBA just picks and chooses who they get a whole investigation into. I mean, why not get a whole investigation into DeAndre Jordan going to the Nuggets 5 minutes into free agency? it makes no sense. And they do it every single year. They pick and choose, and it's very frustrating, especially when it's your own team.
Yeah, and I get like tampering is a thing. Like we're not denying that it doesn't exist. It does.
Everybody does
But
it.
there's hypocrisy from the association, from the NBA, in the fact that they only target a certain amount of people per off season. It seems like there's always a story. I know the Bucks had a tampering issue, the Heat had a tampering issue, the Lakers back in the day had a tampering issue, but it's always just one or two teams, a handful of teams. But there's also 9 or 10 guys that sign within the first 20 minutes of free agency. So the cards don't always fit the deck, in the fact that the NBA, like you said, picks and chooses who they want to investigate, who they want to make these allegations towards, and it always seems like they're trying to do something to a team so other teams in next year will not make the same mistake, but it never works. They're trying to make an example out of the Bucks, or trying to make an example out of the Heat, and this year they're trying to make an example out of the Sixers. But year after year, there's the same allegations of tampering that the NBA just can't fix. So it seems like their tactic of trying to scare teams away from tampering just isn't working, and they need to move away from it very quickly.
Well, I think a huge problem is the punishment. The punishment is very soft. I mean, I guess a second round pick or a fine, but contending teams, when they're trying to compete for a championship, they are not worried about their precious second round pick. So I think definitely if you really want to crack down on tampering, you have to, improve the punishment. Go after millions of dollars, maybe even looking into a first round pick being taken away, depending on how bad it is.
And this is something that I've noticed. It maybe like the Sixers don't have a lot of first round picks to begin with. Second round picks is basically their draft capital for the next couple of years. And so maybe they're going after the Sixers knowing that they could take away a second round pick, and that'll be the most out of anybody. They're not going to take away something from the Thunder if they had tampering, because they have 7 first round picks. What's that punishment's going to be like? But when the Sixers, when you have very small amount of first round picks, and your second round picks is 80% of your draft capital for the next 6 years, maybe that's when they go and look at the Sixers or look at the Knicks for a team like that. That's something that I've noticed. Now that it's been the Sixers. When it's other teams, you haven't really looked that deep into it. But now when it's actually your team and you think about a second round pick being taken away, yeah, it might look minuscule, but it's also like pick number 34. If you're not deep into the second round, if you're a contending team either. So I think that aspect of it is a little tricky. And even like if you're the guy, if you're a prospect, and you're projected to go 60th, what do you do? Right? That's a weird situation to be in.
Yeah. So I mean, if I had to put my input in of how the NBA should handle it, I mean, I feel like they should launch a full investigation on every single free agent taken in the first 30 minutes of free agency, because, what do you think? They're calling them right at 6 o'clock and saying, hey, let's get a deal done. No, they've been talking for weeks and weeks. So,
yeah, I think you should have like a free agency start, and then there's 3 days of a dead period where there no signings could possibly happen. And then you have a 6 p.m. signing can officially happen. I think there needs to be about 2-3 days of, free agency begins where they can consult, they can talk, and then you have, that type of dead period. Then at 6 p.m., just like a normal free agency, then you have the signings come in. I think it'd be a lot more practical in the fact that the signings will come in, boom, 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 and the teams will have to react very quickly and work on their toes. That would be way more entertaining to have, not just DeAndre Jordan the first 15 minutes, but someone that's more of like a bigger name, maybe, that's not just re-signing. So I think that'd be interesting to see. But that's just my take on it. I think a dead period is the way to combat this, because nothing they've tried to do has worked.
Yeah, I mean, taking away a second round pick really does not scare a lot of teams, especially the contenders. So they're going to do whatever it takes to improve their team, and that's what kind of everybody does. I mean, Jalen Brunson's contract got leaked weeks before free agency even opened. I think
during the season, people were talking about he was going to the Knicks.
I just think it's the NBA handles this very poorly, and please step it up. If you're gonna punish 2 teams, you gotta punish them all.
I don't think players should get fined for tampering. One last thing on tampering: players should not get fined for tampering.
Absolutely.
If LeBron wants to go out on Twitter and at Joel Embiid, I want you on the Lakers tomorrow, he should not be able to get fined for that.
Mhm.
That's just players speaking, right?
Mhm.
Like you look at Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown in the NBA, that'd be a full-on tampering investigation. So
Absolutely.
I think that it's good for players to tamper. I like that.
Players
Well,
have been tampering. Look at
yeah,
Damian Lillard and
exactly.
Kevin Durant. He posting that right
Yep.
on his Instagram story.
That's right, and I think that that's good. I like players tampering. That creates a little bit of a drama. But
Yeah,
when it's the
absolutely.
owners, when it's the general managers, the coaches, I understand if the NBA wants to look into it, but they got to find a different punishment or
Mhm.
work ways around it. Like I said, a dead period where there's no point of tampering if you're just going to have a 2-day period where you can't sign. So
Yeah, and
I
just
think I think that's one way to combat that because the NBA right now with tampering is a mess.
yeah, literally any team can get away with it. I mean, and obviously they pick and choose 1 or 2 teams every season, but it's just a joke. I mean, if not 2, just everybody.
Yeah.
Every single signing in the first 30 minutes, you have to look into that. But, that's our take on the tampering investigation and how the NBA handles it. Let's move on to the new arena
Okay.
opening up in Center City, Philadelphia in the year 2030. What are your thoughts on that?
So I don't live in the Philadelphia area currently,
Mhm.
but in 10 years, I most likely will be. So this kind of does affect me. But first, I want to get your take on it because Tony lives
Yep.
not.
I
You
live
live in. I don't know what
I live
Tony's
I live
comfortable with saying,
15
but he
I
lives
live
on the
in
other side
Jersey.
of Philadelphia than
I
Justin
live
does.
like in like an hour away.
Let's
Yeah,
put it that way.
I live 15 minutes away from Philadelphia,
Okay.
so
So
it's
we
right
get
over the bridge for
so
me.
we get three different opinions. So
So
you guys come from
so
opposite sides. I want to
my
Justin. What do you got? What do you got?
so my opinion is for this to work, they have to put a lot of work into transportation and parking. As many people know, Philadelphia's train system is one of the worst in the country, maybe even the world. And people try to avoid the train system at all costs. So I would say completely change the train system, improve it, clean it up, so people can feel comfortable in the subway and riding the trains. I mean, it's really not that hard. And parking, you know, I guess it's kind of like Madison Square Garden. I went there this winter, but parking was hard in New York, and that's going to be a huge problem for this new upcoming arena. I mean, you're right in the middle of Center City, Philadelphia. There's really no open lots or anything, so they're gonna have to tear something down and build a giant parking lot. But I'm obviously excited for the new arena. But the only thing that scares me is the transportation.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is you're 2 blocks away from Chinatown, and the
Hmm.
fact that you can't drive through there.
Yeah,
So that creates a whole nother 3 blocks where you can't drive vehicles.
there's already a lot of traffic
Yeah,
in
there's
Center
already a lot of
City.
traffic, and then you're right in the heart of Chinatown, so that makes it even more difficult. So for me, it seems like from the outside looking in, it seems like they don't want you to drive.
Hmm.
It seems like a plan of you're gonna take the bus, you can take the train, whatever it might be, and they're gonna have to improve that. They've got 8 years to do so,
Hmm.
but it seems like they're discouraging the driving. From to me, maybe if you're in Jersey, like if you're in Tom's River, you drive 30 minutes to a train station, then catch the train. Maybe that's kind of you got to drive a good ways to a train station, then catch it to Philadelphia. But that's what it looks like to me. Doesn't seem like it's a good idea even to drive at this point.
Hmm.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't even try. It's like it's like the Miami Heat where nobody's there in the first quarter. That's what I feel like it's gonna be.
And
It's like
and for playoff games, everybody's like, why is nobody there right now?
right.
Everybody replies,
Yeah,
traffic.
so I think like the Dodgers, like nobody's there in the first inning.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be something similar to that, which is I hate that. I like good atmospheres pregame.
Yeah,
Like
because at Wells
the
Fargo
link,
Center,
the
it's
link is
packed.
like for like first quarter atmosphere, nothing's better than the link. And you can't
Absolutely.
take that away from Philadelphia. And the Sixers, Wells Fargo Center is the same thing. So I you gotta have the energy there. And I'm afraid that with the amount of people that take cars, that have been taking cars to Sixers games for the last 35 years are not going to change their ways. All of a sudden take a bus or take a train to Center City for all that matter. So I think it's a big question mark that the Sixers have to answer. And look, it's just a proposal at this point. I don't even know if it'll get passed. Most likely it will, because the lease with the Flyers is coming up on Wells Fargo at that time, which is kind of dumb. But I think that if it does get passed, there's a lot of other things outside of the arena building that you gotta worry about if you're the Sixers and the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, and Tony, if you want to come up here and show yourself and give your opinion on it.
You guys kind of covered a lot of it. I liked all the Philly sports teams being in South Philly. I thought that was kind of not like iconic. I thought it was kind of like recognizable, I guess, for Philly. I don't like Center City as someone who has to drive to games because I'm not from Philly. If this is passed, proposed, built, or whatever, I don't really like the idea of having to like drive somewhere, then like catch a train somewhere into the city. I liked being able to just drive there, park there, and I could leave from the stadium. But I mean, if they do it right, I mean, it should be fine. I also don't like the name. I don't remember it offhand, but I know it was bad.
Yeah, what is the name?
It
Graham,
was
do you
like
know?
7. It was like 7-6 place or something, or Palace.
Oh yeah, it was. Yep.
You can't tell me your best men can come up with just that.
Yeah, they need us. Seems
Yeah,
respecting us.
I could have come up with something better. I don't have anything right now, but
they should have put us on the job.
Yeah.
It should have been.
There should have been
Arena.
something you could have like pulled, the city or whatever. But that's
like
all I have.
The whole point of all the sports complex being in South Philly is that you don't have to go to Center City to watch a sporting event. You can bypass that. If you're from South Jersey, if you're from Allentown, you can bypass all of that when you're going to a game. So I think that's kind of the issue for a lot of people are saying is like, we liked it where it was in South Philly because the whole point of it being in South Philly is we didn't have to go through all that. And the parking lot is huge. Like a Phil's game, you've got a parking lot for the Eagles, you got a parking lot for the Sixers and Flyers you can use. For an Eagles game, it's the same way. You got 3 parking lots essentially that you can use for one game. So that's a huge
yesterday.
deal.
Like yesterday, I went to the Phillies game that got rained out, and I parked in the at the link.
Yeah, I mean,
but I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to create an MSG like atmosphere with it being right smack dab in the middle of the city. But New York's subway system is miles better than Philadelphia's. So yes, I believe it's a good idea. I'm very excited for a new stadium. I don't want to share with the Flyers anymore because they're the Flyers. But
bad mojo.
Yeah. But no, I think it's time for a new stadium. They've been playing there for a long time.
I understand what they're doing because look, at the end of the day, you got to move to where your fan base is, and that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. Like the Oakland Raiders, they moved to Las Vegas, and that's where their fan base was. I mean, they had a fan base in Las Vegas. The Atlanta Braves, they moved from Center City outside to Marietta or Smyrna, if you want to be technical. But that's where their fan base wasn't necessarily in Fulton County. They were in Cobb County, which is just outside in the suburbs. So you got to move to where your fan base is. I think the Sixers, they have a big fan base in the center of Philadelphia. When you're an NBA team, the Atlanta Hawks have the same thing. Their NBA arena is in Center City for them. So you got to move to where your fan base is. The Knicks do the same thing. Madison Square Garden. The Yankees have a fan base in the Bronx. That's where their stadium is. The Mets have a fan base in Queens. That's where their stadium is. So I think that's some part of it. And you got to look at like the Phillies and Sixers don't always have the same fan base. The Phillies, they have a bit more broader range of South Philadelphians, people, out more in the country than the Sixers would in more urban areas. So that's a big thing between MLB and NBA, and it might not be practical to have them in the same area because you do have 2 different fan bases. Even though 50-60% of them might be the same. Not everybody is the same in that regard. So that's another thing if you're going to look at the pros to move it in the center city. But I like the arena. I think the arena is going to be beautiful.
So do I.
I think it's going to
so
be
excited for it.
It's going to be top class. Any new NBA arena is fantastic. Like I went like the Hawks arena they just built a couple years ago. It's like a nightclub experience. Like it's beautiful. So I like that aspect of it. But it's going to be great. It's just how accessible will it be? That's the big thing.
Yeah, and they have 8 years. 8 years to work on it, and if they do it the right way, it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, new stadium coming soon. Moving on to our last kind of subject for the day, and that's our predictions for this upcoming season. Could be anywhere from Sixers to anywhere in the NBA. Graham, you wanna take this?
I have a prediction, and it's going to be Ja Morant is a top 5 MVP candidate. First one. I think it's pretty easy for me. The guy's been taking leaps every year. And I know it's not Sixers related, but Ja Morant's one of my favorite players. I got to say this. There's been so much Ja hate the last couple of weeks. Seems like you either love him or you hate him. People are saying all these Trae Young debates, but Ja, the way he plays, his ceiling is so high with the fact that he can knock down an open shot. He's virtually unguardable when he goes downhill. His defense obviously needs some work, but you can get away with it. You can hide bad defense when you need to, but he's athletic. He can block shots, which is a big thing for him, and he can dunk. I mean, what more can you say? You're electric.
Oh yeah, he can dunk.
And this is the big thing. I think the Grizzlies could sneak away with like a top 3 seed. They've still got a really good core around Ja Morant, and when you're a high seed in that Western Conference and you're the best player on a good team, your name's in the MVP. So I'm gonna say Ja Morant, top 5 MVP.
I wouldn't think you would call this a hot take, but Joel Embiid and James Harden will be top 5 in MVP throughout the
Wow.
first 3 months of the season.
Okay. So you're saying like a Sixers get off to a 33-8 start.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get off. I think the Sixers get off to like one of their best starts in franchise history.
Yeah, so they're gonna win about like 35 of their first 42 games.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that.
all due to James Harden and Joel Embiid, and I think there is it could be more than one or 2 times where Embiid and Harden are both in the MVP race. But another take that I have is Embiid will finally win MVP this year.
Okay, I like that. I think that's kind of a given.
I don't think Jokic could possibly win it a third time in a row. I think this is Embiid's year. Obviously, there's players who can compete with him for that, but I see another 30 points per game year out of Joel Embiid, and I see a near triple-double year for James Harden.
I'm going to say for this one, Sixers related, Jaden Springer towards the last month of the season will be averaging around 15 minutes per game.
Ooh. See, you like to think that, but you got to remember your coach is Doc Rivers.
15 minutes per game last month of the season.
Your coach is Doc Rivers.
When you need someone like Jaden Springer, you need someone like Jaden Springer.
Yeah, Isaiah Joe will average more than 8 points per game this year.
Okay, nice. That's a good one. Off the top of my head, the last one I had written down, and now this one might haunt some people, but I'm gonna say, Westbrook, LeBron, and AD figured out top 4 seed in the West.
No! Oh,
am I wrong to say that? Am I wrong to say that?
You are absolutely wrong to say that.
Top four seed in the
absolutely
West.
not. If they figure it out,
they're gonna be
only if they figure it out.
And I'm saying they will.
Absolutely be top 4 seed.
I'm saying they'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm not the best person to ask because I'm very biased towards LeBron.
I love LeBron to death. I like Russ a lot. AD.
I don't really care for Russ.
I like Russ. I like Russ a lot. So I'm gonna say they will figure things out and sneak in top 4 seed.
That's a very good take. But They have a very solid team. I mean, you got 3 super. I mean, okay,
If
I
they
wouldn't
can stay
call it
healthy, if they can stay healthy
healthy.
and LeBron
Healthy.
can still be like a point forward,
You
they're
think
gonna be good.
you think you still see LeBron in the MVP conversations?
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be top 10, no doubt.
Yeah. AD,
I think
if
he's gonna be.
healthy,
I think he's gonna be top 3 defensive player of the year alongside Giannis and Joel.
if he's healthy. But
Yeah.
that's it for like a lot of teams. If you're healthy,
Yeah.
you're going to compete, and injuries really suck. I have a this is a bad take, not a bad take, but like a scary take. I think there's always a team who gets caught with the injury bug every year, and the Boston Celtics, I believe they will catch an injury bug, especially with Malcolm Brogdon on their team. I don't know why. I think the Celtics might catch a little injury bug midseason.
Tony, do we have a hot take here before we move on? Because I have one about one of our good friends' favorite teams, about the Pistons. Before I speak on the Pistons,
come on the screen, Tony.
Before I speak on the Pistons,
I don't have like a hot take. I think I just looked at the odds right now.
Give me an outrageous take.
I think the Clippers are coming out of the West.
Whoa,
Plus 340 odds, second in the West.
Oh, you're betting on it.
I just bet on
man.
it. I just bet on
Don't
it.
even get me started on that.
I love PG, man. Hopefully everyone's healthy. Him and Kawhi, I don't see how,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think they'll be.
I mean, they got John Wall. I mean, they're going to be nice. They have a lot of.
Okay.
All right, John Wall.
Don't act like
okay.
John Wall's nice. John Wall's
moves me. Don't act like John Wall's gonna move me.
Respect him.
John Wall,
dude, he got injured falling down in his house.
It happens to everyone. It happens to the best of us, man.
He had a Steve Nash injury.
Come on, man.
What was
Steve Nash retired because he hurt his back moving luggage.
Oh my god. I don't even remember
that. Now we make TikTok videos.
One for the Sixers. I think they have 3 All-Stars this year.
Okay, I like that.
That's
I like that.
Very realistic.
We'll get some Maxey All-Star buzz at least.
I have my last take that I have. It's a special somebody who's gonna have the best year of his career. Somebody who gets a lot of hate on the Sixers team, but he comes in strong.
Oh God.
Mr. Tobias Harris is going to have the best year of his career in 2022-2023.
I know. So we're gonna have 4 All-Stars, or is he gonna be the third All-Star?
The whole team's gonna be
All-Star. I thought you were gonna say Matisse Thybulle for a second.
No, I will never give you Matisse Thybulle propaganda.
Yeah. So if he has the best year of his career, how many All-Stars do we have? 4?
3.
So Tyrese
I don't think Maxey gets an All-Star this year.
I think he does. Last one for me. Pistons make the playoffs.
They have a great future. I'm actually
make the playoffs.
That backcourt of Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, that's gonna be very, very fun to watch.
Yeah. So shout out Sixers D. Pistons make the playoffs. Actually, you know what? I think I have one more, and it kind of has to do with the Clippers. But I'm gonna say, we talked about top 5 MVP. I'm gonna say Paul George up there with John Morant, top 5 MVP.
See, I feel like we talk about Paul George every year, and we always say he's going to be an MVP conversation.
He is. He's very good.
It's Kawhi's team.
But Paul George is the best player.
I can't respect Kawhi's team. Sorry. Sorry. I'll never respect Kawhi again. So.
Oh my gosh.
Tony's freaking out right now. Just say it, Tony.
Did you say Paul George is the best player on that team?
I think Paul George will be the best player on the team.
Yeah, suck it up.
During the season. During next season, I don't think that's too much of a hot take. He might have. I mean, Paul George will definitely have the better numbers. Maybe you can be like intangible wise. Kawhi Leonard does X, Y, and Z.
I think Kawhi's gonna have the better numbers.
Tony is very offended by
Kawhi
that.
Might have.
I love Paul George, but I mean,
Kawhi's gonna have the better VORP. But I think that
Paul George. You're sick. Right. You are sick.
Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I mean, PG could easily average 28.
Oh, he could easily
he
have a
could,
better.
yeah.
He will.
It's also see Paul
He could
Kawhi.
easily have a better season than Kawhi, and
Yeah.
if I have to lean towards a player, I'll lean towards PG.
His defense is
Oh,
still
man.
there.
Why are
His
you
defense is
so
still there.
offended, Tony? Don't get
I'm
so
not.
offended.
I'm not offended. I'm just.
Just
When it comes
not on the same
playoff time,
page.
Kawhi will
That's
be the better
fair, that's
player.
fair.
If that's what you want to hear,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Kawhi in the playoffs will be better
sure,
than Paul George.
sure. I think
Over a span of 82 games, give me Paul George.
Do we have any other hot takes, Graham?
I got a couple sizzling in my brain. Knicks won't make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Not really a
I
hot
don't
take.
really think that's a
I
hot
don't know if that's a hot take.
I got a future take.
A future. Okay, let's see. What's your future take?
Pistons will win an NBA championship in 6 years.
All right. I mean, okay. I mean, what can we say about that?
Yeah,
like,
I
we
can't really
can't
say much about
disagree. Like,
No, I just said I got a future take.
all right, that's gonna be a nice Twitter clip in 6 years when they win.
I just
You
gotta
better keep that.
I just
You
gotta
better-
remember it.
You better not delete that file when you change your PC.
You got another one?
There's so many in my mind because I want to talk about the Miami Heat. And I really don't like talk about players regressing.
But Jimmy Butler.
But Jimmy Butler's
Yeah,
gonna have a
yeah,
bad
yeah,
year.
yeah.
I think Jimmy Butler
It's
might.
It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen sooner or later. But I agree with you.
Rookie of the year.
Oh, I'm very biased because I'm a huge Duke fan.
Okay, so Paolo,
yeah.
All right. Tony, if you say Jaden Ivey, you're cooked.
I'm not saying Jaden.
Jaden Ivey will be the best player out of this draft.
He could be. I don't think he'll have a good start to the season.
I believe he'll have the best career out of this draft.
That's fair. Rookie of the year. Give me Chet, I guess.
Chet.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. When Embiid
I don't like him, but he's
Embiid is
good.
bullying him in the post.
Look, Embiid's generational player, man. Not everyone's like that.
I'm pretty sure anybody could, back him down in the post. But Chet does have some fantastic.
It's got a great skill set.
Yeah. So I think Banchero will win Rookie of the Year. But like you said, Ivy will be the best player out of the draft. That's true. I think that's possible. But the most underrated player and a player that we should talk about a lot more, but we don't when we talk about this draft class. And in 3 years, we'll be reminded about how good this player is Keegan Murray. I feel like
Keegan Murray is a very slept-on player.
I
feel like only because he was taken before Ivy.
Yes, when you look at Paolo, Chet, Jabari Smith, Jaden Ivey, and Keegan Murray is by far the least talked about, and I think that he is up to par.
He was the oldest player in the draft, right?
And I think that I think he could have. I mean, candidacy wise, maybe not win Rookie of the Year, but be top 3. He's gonna step in to that Kings team and just be good right away. So I think,
but it's like, what are the Kings doing?
It actually helps his case out because he's gonna have a lot of shots to take.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see. But I think that he is by far the most slept-on player in this draft.
No,
like you said, a lot of it has to do because I
think like most, like 95% of it has to do with because he was taken before Ivy, and everybody thought Ivy should be taken before him, which I personally think that Ivy should be in Sacramento right now. But who knows? Who knows if Keegan Murray will be that guy for them?
I have another one.
Two
more off the dome. But this is a question I'm going to ask you guys off the dome.
Okay. Off the dome.
Out of all the offseason moves, trades, signings, etc., draft picks, which one do you think will work out least for a team? I have one in mind. I think it's the Timberwolves trading for Gobert. I think that could be a disaster with all the picks that Utah got.
All I know is that the Timberwolves' future is like in danger, in great danger. They traded away all their young guys, all their picks, and I don't even think they're going to reach the Western Conference Finals. I really don't think they will.
Not this year. When Anthony Edwards, steps into his prime, maybe if they still have that core together. But even
No,
then,
I
you
think
don't know. You don't know how well Rudy will be or D'Angelo Russell.
I just hate
Uh,
Rudy Gobert. I really just I
No.
personally I hate Rudy Gobert. So
Yeah, I respect his game, but is definitely not my favorite player. But I just think that it's weird,
there's my Rudy
that
Gobert card that I'm gonna
I
throw in the trash.
Rudy on the Timberwolves just feels weird to me, and I don't get good vibes. So I think
No, I don't.
when
If
you
it's
look at that,
weird for Cat to play the
and the and
four.
the and the draft picks, it's just
Well, I think Cat might have one of the worst defensive seasons of all time. Him being at the 4. I mean, he's literally gonna get cooked all year long. And I get it. You have Rudy Gobert, a great rim protector, but outside of the paint, Rudy Gobert is a horrible defender. So I
against the Timberwolves might be the only time Tobias Harris's 2-dribble pull up from the mid range might work.
absolutely listen. This is my game plan for the Timberwolves, right? And I feel like it would work every time. Go small ball.
Yeah, Tobias is going to drop 34 against the Timberwolves.
Put PJ Tucker at the 5, and we're running small ball when Embiid's on the bench.
Toby 4.
Toby 4. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
run the smallest lineup possible, and it's gonna destroy Cat and
With
and
Embiid on the
Rudy.
bench, or do we put Embiid at the 2?
Put Embiid at the 1. He's always said he wanted to play point guard.
Yeah, put Embiid at point. Harden at small forward and Maxey at shooting guard.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter lineup, in my opinion.
I think any small ball lineup could dominate that Timberwolves team.
Yeah.
They will be a mess defensively against smaller teams. That's all I know. Because Cat was never a good defender, and he's going to be even worse trying to guard 4s.
Yeah.
So is that all we have?
Tony, are you going with the Timberwolves, or do you have another move in the offseason that you feel like is going to blow up in the team's face?
And just like trades or
signing, draft pick, whatever.
DeAndre Jordan to the Nuggets.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think it gets worse than that, man.
Is he their backup center?
I think so. I'm pretty sure he still is.
That's tragic. That's actually tragic.
I mean, they did it so Andy Bailey can tweet about Jokic's on-off.
They're gonna be insane.
I saw that.
They might break records. I'm not gonna lie.
I saw a tweet saying they only signed DeAndre Jordan so Jokic's on and off numbers look better, and they're gonna look way better this year. Because obviously everybody knows how much of a train wreck DeAndre Jordan is, and you saw it against the Heat in the playoffs this year.
He sucks. He's
so bad. Tony, you got any more hot takes? Any predictions for this upcoming season?
Not off the top of my head now.
Graham, any from you?
I think I've said all of them. The hottest out of them all, I think, is the Lakers one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Lakers last year and this year have the biggest question mark in the league. I believe. So.
Honestly, I feel like they're kind of written off for this season. A lot of people are not talking about.
Everybody's out on them, but
yeah,
but they're a question mark for me personally. I just you make it fit and things will work out in your favor. So
the team with the biggest question mark going in to the season, I think, is the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What happened at the end of last season to end their playoff?
That was embarrassing. That was very, very embarrassing for the Phoenix Suns. And obviously, if I was Chris Paul or Devin Booker, I'd be very angry. But I mean, nobody to blame but themselves. They let it happen.
That's why it's so hard for a 1 seed to go all the way.
Yeah. I think is that everything, Graham?
That's all I have. Any more hot takes from anybody else?
I got mine all out. I think Tony's good. He's shaking his head down there. You guys can't see him, but we can. But thank you, everybody, for making it this far in episode 14 of Scenes from the Spectrum off-season edition. Make sure you're following all of our socials. We're going to put a link tree in the bio where you'll find all our socials. But down in that bottom left corner, you'll find our Instagram, SFTS Podcast _, and our Twitter, SFTS Podcast. Thank you guys for watching this far, and we will see you possibly next week. Scheduling conflicts, guys. Scheduling conflicts always mess us up. But thank you guys so much, and have a good one.